Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Old Streams. I have no idea where I'm at. I know I planted a bunch of stuff. I think, did we harvest anything yet? I don't think we harvested anything yet. I don't remember. No, this is still growing. Yeah. Do we buy sheep? Where am I? What day is it? It's late at night. I'm tired. It's been a really kind of busy, frustrating week. The fertilizer's gone. Our Lely is turned off. We need to turn him back on again. Hello, little fella. Let's get him started. One of these sheep making a mess. We have a... Oh, yeah, we have one bale. Okay. Let's go ahead and hire a worker. H. There we go. Get to work, Juno. Man, he needs to be cleaned. I didn't realize they get messy, but they do. All right. Sheep are good. So I need to find this Doots. Doots. All right, there it is. It's filled up, so I have no idea where. It's clean, too. Let's take a look at the fields and see what we did. I don't remember. It's been a week since I've played on this farm, so I've got a lot going on in life in general. Let's see here. So we have, these are all in growth stages. We're looking at the soil composition. Fertilized. Whoa, it's going to be hard to tell. Fruit types. We've got wheat. It's going to be really hard to tell what I sprayed and what I didn't. It looks like 1, 2, and 4, and 15 are done. Oh, because the other ones probably haven't started growing yet. I bet you that's what the deal is. So we planted on 10, and we planted on 3, and we planted on 7. So there's 3 fields of barley. We have 3 fields. Let's go over to them and we'll speed up time so that we can plant or fertilize this and then be done. Yes, if I remember right, that last field I fertilized or seeded and it took down to 1 seed. I don't know. I don't know where I'm at. It's been too long. So I've launched my tutorial series. Hopefully you guys are going to be enjoying those. I did one on the Lely operation, which didn't go so well because it kind of changed on me in the middle of it, and I finally figured out what I was doing wrong. So, and then I also did a tutorial on, let's see, what was the other one? I forgot to put myself offline. Now people are starting to comment because they see Farming Sim is up. They're like, hey, what's he doing? You can't play online without being interrupted. We love you. Oh, there it is. I just drove right past the field. I'm like looking for the field, and there it is. I'm like, where's this magical field? I drove past it. The other tutorial I did was on the poplars, and it's pretty cool. You know, it's for you grow the poplars to make yeah. Look out! I'm cutting you off. The poplars are used to make something or other, some kind of crop. Wood chips. Yeah, sorry. This is the kind of distraction that I have going on today. Let's see here. Yank it in a little bit more. So we're going to turn the tractor off because I'm going to wait. We're going to pretend like some time has passed. I need to get out of the tractor for me to be able to pass time. I just want the crops to grow the first stage. We'll let it catch up for a minute. Go to another hour. I go in hour increments and then wait because what I'm finding is the crops lag way behind the growth. Oh, this is going to suck if I have to do this at night. And they've sprouted. Right at midnight, we have to do some nighttime fertilization because you've got to get them in the first stage. So let's get those lights cranked. This is going to be a pain in the arse. Let's see what happens. Can we do it? Yeah, I'm trying to unfold it. That's all I want. I hate fertilizing at night. Gosh. Oh. This thing's so huge, though. We should be able to see fine, because if you get it first stage like this, you can actually tell what you've done. If you catch it later on, it's like, I can't really see anything at all. This looks like it has some fertilized spots already. But, I don't know. I wonder if I have a way... Did I buy a way to transport the sheep pallets? I don't know that I did. That might be a problem. Look at those pretty sunflowers next door. Alright, so we're going to run this up against the wall. So how's everybody doing out there? I have had a pretty good day today. We had a busy day yesterday. Sunday, of course, is always busy with the worship band. And as of late, the one dude I think is the other lead guitar player is kind of going on break. I don't know if he's having some, whatever. He's just got stuff going on. So he has not been available to do it. So I got Tony put together the next like 2 months of music. He's always like a month and a half ahead. Now the songs haven't been big yet, but he's putting the band together, and I'm on for every. Oh no! I'm on for every week for the next like 6 weeks. I'm like, oh man. Guess they need Arthur. I'm glad. I want to be needed because I love playing. It's fun. So I'm excited about that. I'm also excited about getting my new guitar. It ships out tomorrow, so I should have it sometime by the end of the week. And I definitely will post a couple music clips with that on it so you guys can hear and see the new guitar. Once again, this is a donation from a guy named Clay, who's friends with a friend of mine from church. And he was just like, hey, at first he was selling it, and Mark was like, hey, you want this? And I'm like, yeah, but I can't. If it was like $500, I'm like, I can't afford it. And it's actually like a $600 or $700, Ibanez metal guitar, and with locking trem and everything, and you'll see what it is. When I say locking trem, you're like, what is that? I'll explain it when I get the guitar. Those of you that are guitar players know what I'm talking about, but it has a Spretzel locking tuner system, so there's no locking nut on the top. He really had it customized out so that it's a much better system than the original Wizard 2 system that was involved in the initial guitar. And so, anyway, this guitar is coming, and it's an Ibanez. And I love Ibanez. My first real electric guitar was an Ibanez RG140, and I could never afford another one. The S model, the one that I'm getting, is one that I've always wanted. So anyway, this guy was like super nice and was like, hey, you know what? I'll just give it to you. He's like, I know you can't afford it. He's like, can you pay the $100 shipping? And I'm like, let me talk to my son Mark. So I was like, Mark, can I borrow $100? He's like, yeah. So I owe him $100, but he let me do it. So the guitar is en route, or will be en route tomorrow, because today was a postal holiday. It's President's Day today. Shows you how far behind I am in my recordings, because you probably are seeing this like a month later. Is this the field? No, it's down south. So anyway, that's real exciting. I can't wait to get it, and I'm excited. I don't know if I can use it in church or not. We'll see. It's a lead guitar type guitar, but everybody always... I'm using my Strat and my Epiphone, and those two guitars just have a lot of character. They don't... the Ibanezes and the Jacksons and stuff, they're great, but they tend to have a very flat, kind of indistinguishable tone. They all kind of sound... I don't want to say they sound the same, but they do. Whereas a Stratocaster has a very unique... It has mojo. I mean, there's no question about the Strat is one of the most mojo-ish guitars. It definitely has its own signature sound. And then the Epiphone Dot that I'm using, of course, is like a jazz guitar. It's big body. And that thing has its own signature sound, too. So it's like going from those guitars, which people really like the way... I always... Especially the Epiphone. People just love my Epiphone. They're always like, dude, that guitar is beautiful. And I'm like, I know. It's awesome. That's the one that I used in the demo video I showed you guys for the pod. That's my Epiphone, and that thing is it's just got so many great tones. And so anyway, it's what am I doing? Here we go.
So anyway, they really enjoy that sound, and most people want me to continue, I'm sure, doing that sound. So, but the Ibanez gives me the opportunity to do some cool, like stuff for rhythm. But I'm on lead for the next 6 weeks, so I won't be doing any rhythm parts. But I like using the whammy bar for rhythm. So you're like that, kind of like, it just kind of gives it like a nice little accent. But for leads, I don't know. I mean, we're not lead guitar at church is more like high on the neck rhythm guitar. It's not like we're up there like, it's I'm not doing that kind of stuff. It's more just kind of rhythmic, U2-ish kind of sounding with a little bit of delay and a lot of reverb, It's like, but boy, it sounded good this week, man. We had a great week. And in fact, it was so good that my friend Steve Saxa, he's one of the other guitar players, he was going to quit. He's like, I'm kind of burned out, and I'm just kind of, but then we had such a good week. He's like, you know what, we had such a good week, I think I'm not going to quit. I'm like, all right, dude, yeah. Because that was the first time I've gotten to, we have several rhythm guitar players, and then we have Nate, who's the other lead guitar player. And Nate and I will switch off. And, if Nate plays, I let him do the leads because he's been going to church for years, and he's a good guitar player. And he's, I feel like I'm stepping on his toes if I'm like, hey, I'm going to take lead, you do rhythm, So I just do the rhythm when he plays. And I love it because it gives me, playing rhythm is fun because there's just, you're just basically strumming huge chords and letting them ring out, and that's where the whammy bar comes in because you're like, but he's got like this. But anyway, then we have two or three rhythm guys that we play with, and I've never had a chance to work with Steve before. Like this week was the first week that we were both on together, and it was a blast. I mean, he's a great player, and I'm like, dude, we had all these parts worked out together and stuff, and I think he really liked that working together thing, Nate's super busy. Unlike me, Nate actually has a real job. So, when he comes in, he's like, Steve's like, hey, did we work on this? He's like, nah, I didn't even work on that. Just do whatever. It's kind of like, oh, all right. But I actually, I have the time to do it because I don't have a real life. So, Nate's like a business banker. He's actually making a difference in people's lives, like helping them make financial decisions so that they can send their kids to college, and like. I'm like playing video games on YouTube and taking pictures of homes for sale. It's like, I'm not discrediting what I do. I'm just saying, like, Nate's a really hard worker, and I'm kind of like this goof off. So I'm glad that, but I have time to put into it where he doesn't always have time. He's like, a lot of times at practice, he's got to go because he has to be at work at like 6 o'clock in the morning. He's like, listen, I got to run, guys, So I have an unfair advantage. But it's been beautiful here. The last couple days, for the next week, it's going to be in the 50s. And I cleaned my new Toyota yesterday, and then I cleaned I washed it, and then I took my my Kia to the dealership. I have free washes at the dealership, but the dealership wash always misses like parts of the car, so it's like the trunk always still has crap on it, and like underneath the car in the low areas, it still has crap, and so. I cleaned them both out inside and out, and the Kia I did, I took it to the wash, but then I washed it more when I got home and cleaned out all the door wells and, vacuumed the crap out of the carpets. So both cars look like they're brand new. I'm just like, yes, I love a clean car. That's the one area of my life that I can keep clean that the kids don't generally destroy, though they will, when it's muddy out, they tend to get into the mud and then get into the car. And that was one of the things with the Kia. I was like, oh, like I've been taking them to see when I drop them off at their mom's every Thursday when they go to the homeschooling group. I'm just like, oh, they get mud in the car every time. Every time there's mud in my car, and I'm just like, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's not, you can't get mad about it. It's like, all right, I'll just clean it out. Mater had gotten like just dirt, all like mud all over the back of the seats because he's got little short legs, so when he sits in the car, his legs like go up and like hit the seats. And God, that kid's so cute. Mater. They're asleep right now. That's why you're not hearing them. They have to get up early tomorrow for co-op. So I was doing my tutorials. It's better to do those at night when the kids aren't, in here making all kinds of noise. Whoa! And gosh, it doesn't help the cab inside, does it, for this mod tractor, having all those lights on. But it does help outside for sure.
That's a bug right there. Oh well. I'm not complaining. This is actually not... I like this little tractor. It's perfect for what I'm doing with it. This is like exactly what it's designed to do. So let's go ahead and head out to that last field, and then we'll quote-unquote call it a night, and we'll fast-forward time to tomorrow morning. And we should be able to, hopefully, have some harvest stuff going on. So I think... I mean, we got all the mowing stuff we need. I think we made the right decisions here. We do have a big loan that we need to pay off, but I think we'll pretty quickly be able to pay the loan off. And honestly, it's like, what is it, like a $500 a day payment? I mean, we're going to be pulling in so much more money than that. It's not really a big issue. All right, so I need to turn right here. Little frame rate drop there. Turn the blinker off. Yay. And I think... Whoa. Mark? Oh, you scared the crap out of me. We watched A Fistful of Money, I think it was called. It was one of Clint Eastwood's first movies. And man, was it good. People really didn't. It's like not as popular as the... obviously, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and some of his newer stuff. But I guess it was the movie that became like the standard for spaghetti westerns. And I didn't know this either, but they call them spaghetti westerns because they were filmed in Italy. I never knew that. I didn't know that's why they were called spaghetti westerns. I thought maybe it was because there's all this blood and guts hanging out when they got shot. I was way off on that one. It's because of where they're filmed. I thought that was pretty neat. Mark knew that. He was reading all about them. But it was, people really, when it came out, it bombed. Like, people did not like it at all because it was so violent. And they were used to, like, you know, John Wayne kind of westerns. They weren't, I mean, they still had some violence in them, but they weren't anything like this movie. Just kind of a dark character, and boy, what a great movie. Not as, well, maybe, I don't know. The Good, Bad, and the Ugly definitely is the best of that type of movie, but it was a good movie. That same kind of like so bad that he's almost good character. So good he's almost bad. I don't know. Yeah, I'm trying. I'm working on it. I'm unfolding it. Jeepers criminy. Hold your freaking horses. I might go for a walk tonight. It's almost midnight, though, but it's just so nice out. I'm like, I feel bad sitting inside playing games. All right, let's go ahead and get this thing fired up. And we begin our... This is going to be like fertilizing a record. It's like fertilizing a pizza. A big round of pizza. Speaking of spaghetti westerns. Alright, so we're almost done for the night. Once again, this sprayer makes it pretty quick and painless. I mean, it's really... There's not a lot to it. Do 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 do. Oh baby. Wing damage. Name that video game. Should be pretty easy. So every single character in the game says wing damage. They just speed up. They're like, whoa, 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 wing damage, wing damage, wing damage, wing damage, wing damage. Back when video games, I'll give you a little hint on time-wise. Back when video games, you know, like they could only sample like 5 different things because they were very limited on RAM. Back in the cartridge days. Back before CD-ROMs, before multimedia PCs were available. Like, I remember the PlayStation. I remember after playing the PlayStation, I'm like, why didn't they do this like 15 years ago? And like Nintendo was still releasing, you know, it's like the Nintendo 64, like a silicone graphics machine, you know, it's like the most powerful system ever released, the Nintendo 64, and it was like
it's still based on cartridges. Like, you couldn't figure out how to go to like a regular normal disc system like every single other, company in the world did like 5 years before. No, we stand by cartridges, and so it's like you had a system that couldn't play real music and couldn't either. And the other thing that was, the 64 couldn't draw transparencies, so it had to use meshes. So everything, like clouds that would come off the back, like you'd spin out your wheels and the smoke would come up, it would be all full of like wire mesh. It was just awful looking. Like, what were they thinking, Nintendo? Oh, Nintendo. They're so great and yet so stupid sometimes. They take something super successful and then somehow like completely drop the ball in the next generation. They do it over and over again. It's like, but somehow they still end up making hits. It's like, somehow they still have the I guess the financial fortitude to make bad mistakes and then like somehow recover from them, because they do. They always come back with something new and better. And it's like, the Wii was awesome, did great for them. It was like one of their best selling systems after the GameCube was a total flop. Now, I personally don't necessarily understand why the GameCube flopped, except for the world's worst controller. But the GameCube was, I love the GameCube. I had an Xbox and a PlayStation 2 and the GameCube, and I played the GameCube way more than I played the other systems, because it had Star Fox Adventures, it had Wind Waker, it had, the Twilight Princess, it had all these, like, just, oh man, the Metroid game, Metroid Prime, holy cow. I mean, just these blockbuster games. Star Fox Adventures was one of my all-time favorite games, and the graphics were, I mean, like, back then we were dealing with, what do you call it, the 3-color, so it was like red, green, blue, what's that called, component cables. And out of the three systems, the GameCube, hands down, and this is funny because I know people are going to be like, what? But I'm telling you, man, I had all three of them, and the Xbox, when I played my PlayStation, my eyes would get bloodshot because the focus was so bad on the PlayStation 2. Like, it just, something about the way that it was set up, it would make my eyes go bloodshot, and I hated it. Oh, it made me so mad because I loved the system, but it was like, Gran Turismo was one of my favorite games. I played the Grand Theft Auto series games on there, and but every time I played the PlayStation, my eyes would be bloodshot. Microsoft system was great. The Xbox was awesome, the original Xbox, but it still was like all the graphics were kind of gray and muddy. And then you get the GameCube out, and the GameCube had this, it was the only system based on ATI, and they just, ATI versus NVIDIA, that battle could go on forever. I've owned products from both companies. I currently have 2 ATI video cards, but my last generation of cards were all NVIDIA, and they were wonderful. NVIDIA's made great products. So I'm not knocking NVIDIA, but AMD had them beat in that generation. I'm telling you, man. Or not AMD, but ATI. That was before they merged. ATI had them beat. I'm sorry. The colors, and like Star Fox Adventures, if you've ever played it, it was one of the most beautiful, colorful video games that I had ever seen. And I mean, like it looks like the games that are coming out today with the colors and stuff. It was unbelievable. Like the graphics quality, the sharpness of the graphics, obviously I really was impressed by it. And this is coming from a guy that has owned every video game system up until that generation. After that, I kind of lost interest and I went back to PC games. But yeah, I'd owned every generation of every system, except for Sega. I owned the Dreamcast, and I also owned a Saturn. But I didn't own anything before that from Sega. But it was just kind of and the system flopped. I mean, the GameCube was a total flop for Nintendo. But, it was... They tend to do gimmicky stuff, and it's like, what are you doing? Are you trying to, like, throw your life away? They just like gimmicks. And so it's like, when the Wii U came out, it was like, what? You're going to... Like, you really think that we want a system that's basically a Wii all over again, but just with a portable gamepad? It's like the graphics didn't improve. I don't know. They just do silly things sometimes. Does this only have one spot? I wonder if this is going to be a problem, or does this whole thing fill up? I mean, what? Let's see what happens overnight. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's not us. That's ready. Okay.
Man, I'm running out of money. So let's see. Does this make a second pallet? This is going to suck if this only can do one pallet at a time. Let's take a look at the sheep. It's at 93%, so let's speed up time a little bit more. Harvest is still growing. Good, so there's more pallets. All right, good. And we're just going to fast forward on past till we get to the crop being ready. That's right, I grew just a little patch of sunflower seeds by mistake. Let time catch up. We're going to sit for a minute and let it catch up because it might be done. Sometimes it takes like half an hour for it to catch up. Sweet. Hopefully this whole area fills up with those. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, there it's ready. See what I said? It was ready, and it didn't catch up. So let's go ahead and get our little harvester ready and start collecting the crop. What do I do with my trailers? I think the trailers are up front. So we'll get our middle tractor. Oh, that color bothers me. Like I said, if I can find a better 510, I'm going to do it. Because I want it to be more... Oops, I missed. It's over here. Over here! What's over here? The trailers! Okay! This tractor has big honking wheels. They sound like this. I am so funny. I am so funny. Do you guys think I'm funny? Or do you just think I'm weird? Who is this 43-year-old man playing a farm game at all hours of the night? 6 children, runs his own company, and yet can't. He's addicted to the farm sim. It's like cocaine. Gamer cocaine. I know people every day. Like I got some new converts today. Like somebody got on and was like, "Hey, I've been watching your farm sim videos, and you know what? Looks like it's kind of an interesting game." And I'm like, "I know. I can't stop playing it." All right, so we're gonna leave that there. Who has the arms? He has the arms. Okay. Beep. So we need the big header. I wish we could get a larger header for this. I'm sure somebody has a mod header out and I just missed the release. Because I'm silly like that. Alright. Oops. Whoa! I'm surprised the header didn't pop off. It's pretty tight in this farm. It's tight. This probably means that the grass is done growing too, so if we need more grass for the sheepies, we can... Whoa, they made a huge mess. And the Lely Juno is not keeping up. What? I gotta straighten that out. The frick. Hours went by too fast. H. It's full and it's not unloading is what the problem is. Come on. This thing doesn't hold much, and so that sucks because that means their productivity went way down. I think it drops it down to like 40% if it's not clean. Quit making messes, sheep. All right. Me. This thing needs to be cleaned. It's a wreck. All right. Come on, Laley, do your job. Surprisingly, got a lot lost. Or that messed up. I think it's just because we took too long. Alright, so we're going to do this. But I love the sound of the sheep. They're like, bang, bang. What am I going to do about those sunflower seeds? I'm not going to buy. It's too much effort to harvest them. Like, bring the trailer all the way back here, unload it. It's like, forget it. Just leave them. We're going to go up in the grass field here and get limbered up. I know I must unfold it first. I shall. I shan't. I can't. Right. Yeehaw! Time for the harvest. The backup beeper is calling. Let's get this thing started. And I think we did soybeans, right? I've done wheat and soybeans, I'm pretty sure, is the vast majority of my crop. I'm not going to be keeping the straw, I don't think, because I don't really have any way to collect. I mean, it's going to be like a pain in the butt to sell it, because I have to keep coming back to the farm to do it. There we go. I don't know how people do this and stay in line. Like Kyle said, there's depth perception. It's really hard to tell what you're doing when you're doing it from this angle. Hoping I don't hit any trees. I know I've done that before. Soybeans are worth quite a bit of money, though. We should be able to make a pretty decent profit. I'm hoping maybe like $30,000 or $40,000 from our crop. Maybe more. I don't know. We'll see. But probably not. These are pretty small fields. In real life, this would just tear those up. Just gonna go straight back. Use your prepositions. I wasn't using my mirrors. Sorry. Don't run the harvest over. Don't whiz on the electric chair. Alright, we're almost all the way back. A little green and steamy. And I've just hit the tree with my harvester. That's good. $100,000 down the drain. I think it was Mr. Bull was telling a story one time on the multiplayer server about how one of the guys was driving the harvester, and he was the owner. And they hit a rock and did like $40,000 of damage to the harvester. Like it needed to have a whole new header, basically. Like it ruined the header. That would be really frustrating. And expensive and sad. Make me cry. What's up, Mark? What? Thought we were going to watch something or something. What time do you have to get up? I think all the cars are out of your way, right? Any bites on the Riata? Mark's trying to sell his Riata. Anybody want it? $2,200. Not delivered. You must get it yourself. What'd you say, Mark? We'll pay for the shipping? I don't know. If shipping. Oh, and pay for the shipping? They could buy it themselves and pay for the shipping? Great deal. It's actually been a pretty good car. He got a lot of stuff fixed on it. It's one of those cars where it's going to need more work. Like, it's not what he needed, and he should not have bought it. And so, what'd you say, Mark? Right. But anyway, he paid he's got over $5,000 in it. I mean, between the purchase price and but it's got a lot of miles. That's the only problem. It needs somebody that can work on it, you know. I think this map has the chop straw mod. It must. All right, I'm gonna do it from the outside. I don't want to have to keep going back and forth. So I'm obviously missing.
But I figure once I get this section cleared off, I can run the other way then. The length of the field. Yeah, I think this harvester is the right size for this farm. Maybe, the Massey might work also because it's pretty small too. Like the header's not ridiculously huge. But this is doing okay. I mean, it takes a little bit longer, but we definitely, in some of those crops where we have to drive to, it's going to be very difficult to get to. Look at it's pretty cool. We can see our crops on the hill there. See those up there? Those are ours. Those are our other 2 fields. And then the grass crops that I quote-unquote stole. Repurposed. Might as well use them to our advantage, right? And eventually we can replant grass on them too. These fields all need to be plowed and replanted, so... Let's see how our little patch is doing over there. Looks like it grew in. That's good. Yepers. This is our first harvest, isn't it? So this is our first Old Streams harvest. It's super exciting. We're going to find out how much money we can make with soybeans anyway. Once again, it varies per crops, but it's always, it rotates. People keep asking me to do a best crop video, and it's like I get it, but there really isn't a best crop because they all have the same, it's like it depends on the day, and they all have about the same value. It's just, some crops are worth more, but you get less yield, so it ends up all balancing out, and they all end up giving you about the same amount. So if you get $10,000 of this off the field, you're probably going to get $10,000 of that. Slight variances in the crop price could also make a difference. Like we found out on Sosnovka, if you guys watched, I went to the train that I usually go to because you get double pay, and I'm like, well, it's worth less, but I can do double pay. Well, since the patch, they changed that, so you can no longer do double pay. So I got screwed because I went for the worst price on the map then, and I ended up losing probably a good $6,000 or $7,000. So what are you gonna do? What have I done? What have I done? Anyway, it's a bit of a bummer, but what can you do? What can you do? I feel bad. I've had to abandon the Twitch channel for a week because I am completely tapped on my bandwidth. So people are always like, "Well, can you do this? Can you do this?" I really can't. This is the best service that's available. My friend works for them, and supposedly the caps are going to be going way up soon. So hopefully in the next couple months, that's all going to end, and that won't be a big deal anymore. But right now, I have 2 choices. I either have cable or DSL. I mean, I could go with satellite, and I know some of the satellites don't have, like limits and stuff like that. And I think maybe even our Frontier / AT&T DSL doesn't have limits either. But the service is so much worse. It's like I'm going to be going from 200 down and 20 up to like 6 down and 3 up. I'm like, why on earth would I make that kind of move? It would be cheaper, but it's like it's going to take me 2.5 weeks to upload a single video, and forget Twitch. I mean, Twitch is done for if I do that. I will not be able to stream with that service. So it's kind of like I'm just kind of stuck where I'm at. So I can still do my episodes and stuff because I can control how much I upload, but the Twitch stuff I got to really watch because I think that was the big difference this month from last month. I did a lot of twitching, and it ended up using up most of my bandwidth, so I got to watch how much Twitch I do. I need to really limit it to like Tuesdays and Saturdays or whatever so that I'm not going over the bandwidth limits. Stupid tree. Happens to be right where I need to be. Oh, that's weird. How did I miss that little spot? So I guess what we can do is we can... Oh, wrong button. Wrong pedal. It is weird backing up with the back. Like people have said, it's hard to get used to backing up with the brake pedal. What are you yelling, Mark? What? Oh, good night, honey. See you tomorrow. He's got to, as you heard, he's got to work in the morning, so he's going beep beep. Gonna harvest that bush right there. Did you see how pretty those brake lights look shining through the wheat? That was pretty cool. Or through the soy chaff. We'll see it again here. Watch when I put my brakes on. You can see how it shines through there. That's pretty cool. It's a pretty neat effect there. Like a rainbow of effects. A red rainbow. Man, I need to brush my teeth. Ugh. Alright. This is so exciting. I haven't even gotten one full hopper yet, and the field's almost halfway done. This is not looking good for our big harvest income. I think we're probably going to make... Let's see. Let's take a look and see what the prices are. P's the wrong key. I want this one. Let's see there. The wool's almost 50% full. Awesome. Okay. Let's see here. Currently, our soybeans are holding steady at 1,300 per ton, I think, per liter. How does this work? The math is that if I had if you have per 1,000 liters, I think is how they measure it. So 4,000 liters is going to bring me roughly $6,000, 5,000 something. Because every 1,000 liters is worth 1,300. So I mean, we're getting close to $7,000 worth of crop here. It's not horrible, and with all the fields added up, we should have a pretty decent intake. Maybe like 20 or 30,000 bucks, plus the wheat. So the wheat will be a good income too. And then we have all the we can sell those the wool pallets. So we got some money. And we have everything we need. That's the big thing is I don't really have to buy anything else. It would be nice to get a heavy duty farm truck, like to carry a product from the farm to the store. Also, we can do it in like a one trip, but that's not a necessity. Or at least a giant tipper. Once again, we bought the big tipper early on, and it was just too much. So it's like there's a limit. But if we got a very maneuverable truck with we'll see. Get our old animal farm set up back with a Tatra IT runner, and then an IT runner attached to the back, so we have like double IT runners. It's a pretty cool setup. Pretty expensive setup, like $500,000, but it's cool stuff. Not something that we have to have, though. I'm just kind of enjoying farming. All right. Still haven't filled up. One of the things that's great about the soy and the canola is that it doesn't take a ton to fill up. Look at this grass is all ready too, so that's good. There's our little bee house. We could do that. We could buy, something we could invest in since we have a ton of sheep. I'd like to get up to 200 sheep though, so we'll keep buying sheep. We could start investing in like bee houses and those kind of things. Maybe gardens, get a couple cows so we can make manure. Cows and pigs. Yeah, cows and pigs. And one of those little Welger balers. Nothing major, but like small operation stuff. And just feed them. I don't know. We'll see. I'm really liking this farm, though. I know people, they're always like wanting me to try new maps, and I'm sorry. A lot of times, here's the problem: if I start a new map, then I have to start all the way over again, and it's not really conducive to what I'm doing. But when a major map comes out, at some point I will start a new farm. And Micah had a good story that he came up with.
that gives us an idea of how to do the next farm where we can start off with some stuff. But we're going to work on that scenario a bit. I'll be doing it with Micah. But for right now, this farm's is here to stay for a while. I'd like to get to the point where we actually, as I do that. I do farm hop quite a bit, and I want to kind of stay stable for a while and just enjoy a farm and really work it. I mean, heck, we're only on the first harvest. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying this harvest season and that you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to check out our Twitch channel. Don't forget to check out our Facebook page. Life is good. Have a great night, guys. Be sure to subscribe, and whoops, I will see you on the fields of old streams. Have a great night. We'll see you guys soon.